Alright, so hi guys and welcome back to another video. So in today's video I just wanted to take the time to talk about Uranus within the sign of Aries. Now for those of you who may or may not know, but Uranus has been within the sign of Aries for the past 7 to 8 years and it's going to be going into the sign of Taurus come March, early March. And it's going to be in there for another good while. Yeah. Because the thing about Uranus is that Uranus is a generational planet. It is the planet connected with the collective. So with that in mind, I want to look back on Uranus within the sign of Aries and just touch on a little snippet that I typed up a couple of days ago. And this was actually brought on in response to my How to Raise the Collective video, or Raise the World video, because I talked about some of these things, but you'll see what I mean whenever I read it. So it says, it's been within this age that we have seen more selfies taken than ever before. We have noticed strong collective outbursts as well when it comes to sex, and of course Aries rules your sexuality, your sex drive. Outbursts when it comes to sex, such as the Me Too movement and feminism. So I remember before I made a video about feminism in connection with Pluto, but guys, my goodness, my views and my opinions on things have drastically changed since then. I'm just really starting to view my own, or I'm starting to build upon my own truth, right? And maybe this is in connection with Saturn in Aquarius, because my Saturn's in Aquarius and my Saturn return is next year, and I'm just having all of these sudden realizations right now in my life when it comes to what I want to do with the next year ahead. As you can see, it is the likes of the Me Too movement and feminism where it's been, well, the collective have rised up against against them feeling discriminated. People who have been also abused in any way, if they've been taken advantage of in any way when it comes to sexual exploitation. So there's a lot of that that's coming up and rising up that have been within the past, well, whilst Uranus has been in Aries. I don't know the exact dates when everything happened, so I apologize. So yeah, there have been many protests when it comes to how people also are identified, such as gender identity and body acceptance. So this is another thing, what we're seeing a lot of when it comes to the collective, so the collective consciousness, where we're deriving a lot of our energy into. That's, yeah, Uranus is basically where the collective is putting so much energy into one thing, and so because of so much energy, it becomes more popular, becomes more mainstream, right? So when it comes to the protests and identification with Aries, there's been more emphasis, more people becoming aware when it comes to gender identity, and there's people looking into it from a different point of view. But then also body acceptance, because the way I see this is, well, within Western world, right? Of course, there's a lot more different situations going on around the world, but if we do look to the Western world, we see this everywhere. We see this sort of image, this person by which you should identify yourself with being, that it's in, that this is hot, this is in, this is the thing. You should look at this and you should feel like you want it too. But then Uranus in Aries is like, no, excuse me, but yes, there may be so many people doing that, but I'm Uranus, I rule Aquarius, and so I'm going to revolt and I'm going to stand up for who I am, and especially with it in Aries. So it can be this push, because Aries is the self. So whilst there's been a lot of energy that's been placed into how we appear, right, into our appearances within the Western world, whilst there is a lot of emphasis there, we also notice the opposite approach of social movements rising up. such as body acceptance, and saying no. So we notice as well how veganism is on the rise due to the collective being angry about how animals are treated, along with pollution warnings. Now, I can definitely see how Uranus being in Aries can create this, because Aries is also to do with our survival. So what you see is that whilst there's these new ways, these more revolutionary, progressive ways for eating is coming out. We notice this, we have been for the past few years. So when it comes to fake meats, fake milks and things like that, a lot of artificial stuff. And of course Uranus is quite an artificial planet in its own way, in a way, because it does rule artificial intelligence, I believe. So it's just very sci-fi, you know? Aquarius, Uranus, very sci-fi. So it's these types of products that are being made. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're good or bad. It's just that through experimentation, we still develop and we progress further with the nutrition of the public, of, well, not even just the nutrition, but just the very basics of our survival. So what is it that humans need to survive? What is it that we need in order to get into this Taurus energy and sustain life, right? So when it comes to veganism being on the rise, you can see how it is a very progressive movement that really cares not only about it's not only about the self, even though Uranus is in Aries. Neptune, remember, is also in Pisces. So Neptune and Pisces has been creating this collectively, these very empathetic types of people who really care about humanity, and they care about everything, and all is one, and all these different spiritual practices are coming out. When it does come to our spiritual beliefs, guys, our spiritual beliefs can certainly play a role into what we consume and our attitudes towards things in general. So with that in mind, whilst Uranus is within Aries, we have people who are choosing, who have been choosing to survive in their own way, do their own way, whilst also giving empathy and sympathy to other beings, and also towards the environment. Because the thing as well about pollution warnings, Aries energy is a very warning, danger sign. So we also see that there's a bit of a scarcity that's surrounded what's going on here, because people who eat meat, they are rising up and they're saying, no, that is false stuff. We're getting back to our very basic roots in our survival mode. And there's causing a bit of a war, a bit of a dispute. So these things have been happening whilst Uranus has been in Aries. But what I find really interesting is how Uranus went into Taurus last year for a little bit, and then went back through to Aries, and then moved forward again. And I'm noticing here that when Uranus went into Taurus, this is when all of this started happening. I think this back and forth between, well, what is the most sustainable, healthy diet for humans, for our survival. So yeah, there's been a lot of that going on with Uranus and Aries. Another thing I've typed here is, we also notice how some people within, I said here, we also notice how some people within this community can also be angry towards others, whilst others can be angry towards the vegans and claim that their way is the right way. So yeah, we're getting this, no, this is the right way, this is the way you should do it, my way, I've seen it, help a lot of people. Uranus and Aries, still the collective and the self. I see how much it can help the collective through my way, and so I'm going to talk about my way and share my way and speak my truth with others. So there's a lot of that, but then it's also the opposite side of that, of people disagreeing. And of course it's good to have debates and have discussions, right? We talked about this in the how to raise the vibration of the world, that yes, it's good to have these open discussions. However, of course, it's not about demanding and fighting and revolting and tearing things down and getting really emotionally charged when it comes to these things, where you can have a really destructive tendencies towards others, and you can create havoc. And Aries Aries likes to create havoc sometimes. If it feels that what is happening is not fair to Aries, then Aries will make sure that their point is fully taken into consideration, that their needs are. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of this going on. I also put here, but as veganism rises, the carnivore diet will rise as well. So this is the back and forth between those who eat meat and those who don't. Well, to be fair, the carnivore diet I think is where you literally just eat so much meat, and I don't know, I'm just, okay, I'm learning just to be more balanced in my life, okay? I just eat whatever I want, okay? Sorry, I just seem to sort of have a conversation with myself. It's very Gemini midheaven, I guess you could say. And as we enter into the age of Taurus, many revelations will be happening when it comes to how the collective views food. Because that's another thing. Apparently, word has it, guys, is that they're planning to sort of get the cell from an animal. So take for a pig, for example. Just take a cell, take whatever DNA that they need, bring it to a laboratory, bring it there, and then create meat out of it, using it, creating fake meat, but suggesting that it has all the nutrients and everything that you need for your survival. You need all this for sustaining life. It's so healthy for you. Yes, buy it, buy it, buy it, consume it, yes, go. But then people are seeing this and they're thinking, that's very artificial. Just because you take it from here to here and you make it there and it's like cloning it in a way, doesn't mean that it's going to be packed with everything within that cell. That it's basically going to the natural source is the best. Going to the very source and getting everything from that source. So I just realized that I put age of Taurus rather than Uranus of Taurus. But yeah, I just think that these things are going to happen whilst Uranus is in Taurus, because these are things that I've been hearing about just through my own findings, things I stumble upon. I don't know how accurate this information is, so please don't take my word for it. Do your own research, but these are just patterns and themes that I'm seeing. So yeah, I think that when Uranus goes into Taurus, there will be a type of natural technological clash of stubbornness from both sides. But still, going with Uranus and Aries, what's also very interesting about this is that during this transit, we had the creation of Instagram and Snapchat. Both applications being highly me-driven, right? Very much about, you know, the selfies, and we had talked about the filters before in the other video that I made. And with that in mind, I can just really see how the Uranus and Aries manifested, because if Instagram and Snapchat are connected with this collective application that everybody really wants, I used to have Snapchat, but I deleted it, but I have Instagram and I really like Instagram, but it's being done in this Aries way, which is really quite powerful if you think about it. Because we come to this new, like the beginning, that is Aries, and we have a transit of Uranus and Aries creating these new beginnings when it comes to the collective, when it comes to everyone. So all of these different programs and these creations that have come out during this time, they have been extremely revolutionary. I mean, if you think about how rapid, how fast everything has progressed, even from 2010, because that's when this all began, this transit, around 2010. And I can honestly say that during this transit, wow, how old was I? 19? Whenever this all happened. And my goodness, guys, that was actually when, I think, so when I lost my virginity? Well, there you go. There's that. But you know, what followed from that really, of course, my moon is in Aries, and I feel really special sort of connection right now to this video, because I know for myself that I have felt a huge revamp of myself within just the past couple weeks. That I feel like, I really feel this anticipation leading up to Uranus going into Taurus. I feel it so much, because when I look back on my life and how much I've reshaped my identity to be where I am, which has really helped actually my Chiron and Leo energy, it's helped me a lot with that. When it comes to expressing myself with confidence, that identity shift, that identity dismantling that had to happen, you know, within my intimate relationships and everything, and my unconscious and all the repressed things that I had, because my moon's in the 8th house. But yeah, this transit is happening in my 8th house, and there's just been a major reset within how I view sex, within how I view intimacy, within how I view my own emotional world, and my own anger, my own rage, my resentment that I held for so long towards family and relationships, and how those things were being projected, how those anger issues were being projected into my relationships. And all these things, guys, came out during this transit for me. It was a huge experience, and you know what, I'm so flippin' grateful. I am so grateful, because I am where I am now, and oh my gosh, like, I've talked about this a couple of times with my best friend, but honestly, I feel like I have to pinch myself sometimes. I'm so flippin' grateful to be where I am in my life, to be where I was back then, you know, 19 years old, without a single clue, no idea of what I wanted. You know, just going off on the whim to Australia with a partner, and then jumping right into America, and jumping right into so many experiences throughout my life. To go through all of that turbulence, all of that movement, so much, to be here and to be solid and to feel a place of serenity for myself, it is just incredible. I love the experiences that I've been through, in terms of even the ones that were challenging. They've taught me so much. They've helped build a really strong character within me. Yeah, the things I've been through have shown me just how strong I am, and how much I've been able to overcome. And this Uranus and Aries transit, it's been really very powerful in terms of my own identity and standing up for myself. So yeah, when it comes to Uranus in Aries, we've seen this. We've seen this a lot, I think, collectively, of people standing up for themselves, and that's a really important thing, I think, to end this video with, is Aries and defending yourself, honoring yourself by standing up and saying, no, that's not fair. I don't want to be treated like that. I want to do this because it's my choice. Yeah, even Aries types can be hard on themselves, guys. Remember, they have a little lamb that lies within them. You get the ram, but inside it's a little lamb. So with all that being said, guys, these are just some of my thoughts and opinions when it comes to Uranus in Aries. Let me know what you thought of this video. And also, if you have anything else you want to add when it comes to this Uranus and Aries transit, let us know your experiences, but also let us know some themes, because I definitely did not touch on everything there. There's probably a lot more that I could say, but yeah, I'll probably be here for an extremely long time, and I'm trying to work on this, making shorter time videos, because I talk a lot. So with all that being said, guys, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing, and I will be back with another video very, very soon.